Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends US Agent. It kind of goes without saying that it seems that every Marvel Legends line has to have at least one Iron Man and at least one Captain America. I suppose to their credit, we didn't get a Captain America in this wave, although we did get the next best or worst thing, depending on your opinions of it. We get ourselves US Agent. It looks at some extent that it's just a repaint of an initial Captain America that we've gotten. But I still like US Agent. I've never had any issue with the costume, and I like the look of it. Up at the top, actually, is a nice picture of US Agent. Don't worry, we'll look at the back in a second. He does come with a display base, though no build figure, which is disappointing. Kind of wish they had at least included a build figure, but nonetheless. On the back, once again, there's that same photo. That is really nice artwork. That artwork is enough for me to want to get back into comic reading, and it's been so long. Spot as an adult, as it usually goes with being an adult, you have all these other responsibilities with work and doing other things in life that you just don't find time to do things that you used to love doing. Video game playing, reading comic books, but I digress. The brief read-up for US Agent says, US Agent charges boldly into battle. That's all it says. I guess artwork-wise, still good. It's a shame that we don't get more of a read-up. Be on the lookout to collect all 6 figures, each sold separately. There is US Agent, Marvel's Knights, Punisher, Iron Man, Doctor Doom, Deadpool, and Mystique. What I am going to do is take a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at US Agent. There's definitely more to come. Don't go anywhere. Oh no. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Included with US Agent, you get yourself a display base, the same base that we've gotten with all the other Marvel Legends figures. Not really much to be touching base on, aside from the fact you get 3 peg holes, 2 pegs on the feet, or 3 pegs, 2 peg holes on the feet, so you can peg them in any one of the 3. Moving out of the way, other accessories that you get, well, we'll discuss the pistol in a second, but you get yourself a small knife. There doesn't seem to be any spot on US Agent where you can use or hold this knife when he's not, when he's holding his shield and gun. I'm slightly frustrated with this figure, but I'll get into that in a second. But you get a knife, a little small bladed knife. Spot has just dropped right there. There we go. Thank you. And lastly, you get yourself the shield, which I would imagine is just a repaint of a previously released Captain America shield. It has the same clip, the same peg on the back of the shield that you can take US Agent, just peg it into his back like so, that he can carry it around, or you can swing this clip out, which is extremely tight. Swing it out, and he can clamp it to his hand or arm, like so. Which most people probably who own Captain America figures or US Agents probably will have him holding the shield around his arm, maybe not so much on his back. And lastly, he does come with his handgun. I'm not sure what's going on here. This handgun is fine. I've really got no issues with the handgun itself. There's nice paint in the black handle and silver in the gun itself. But I really don't know what's going on with his hands. His hands are awkward. Extremely awkward. Sure, there is a swivel and rotation in the wrist. There's absolutely no problems at all with the wrist and the movement. But his hand is awkwardly posed. To have him holding his gun properly, or at least to the point where he's able to use it, you first of all really have to finesse it into his hand, like so. Once you get it in his hand, he's got this weird, awkward pose to him, where it doesn't look like he can hold the gun properly. And I think it all lends itself to the way that that hand is sculpted. Instead of just having a hand like this, he's got this hooked hand that pretty much renders him holding that handgun properly. Let's see if we can actually get in the other hand a little bit better. At the very least, see, at the very least, his finger, I think, fits better the handgun on the one side than it does on the other. See, even then, it's not fantastic. And I've got the finger in the trigger right there. It just seems awkward. It just seems awkward the way that they've got this hand. In fact, to have him holding it straight, you kind of have to bend the wrist on so much of more of an angle. Kind of just makes him look a little awkward, though. Removing the pistol out of his hand after all that ordeal. Let's have a look at the figure. He's not bad. He's not bad. The better parts of the figure are, I think, his face. I kind of like that grunt, kind of that grimace. It's not so much really even a grimace, but that real serious look that he's got in his face. He's got the ears still going on the side, the open, exposed ears, which I like. I always like that. The coloring is nice. I don't really see too much of paint issues anywhere. He's got the variation of his logo, the variation of his armor to that of Captain America, with the red and white stripes. Little black star up the top there. The figure mostly is just black, white, and red. The colors all work extremely well. But I don't know. As a whole, I don't feel as happy with this figure. I'm not quite sure how to pinpoint what exactly is driving me crazy about this figure, but he just seems like he doesn't sit and stand well. Sculpt on the back is pretty good, and I like that. And he's still got his Buccaneer-style boots going on there as well. There's really no... See, for me, there's no real reason why I should be so bothered by this figure, but something about it just drives me crazy. And it could be just the fact that I don't have him properly posed. If I had maybe his shield in hand, snap it into place. If I had his shield in hand and I kind of just had him more in a gesture, I probably would like the figure a little bit more. I guess maybe that looks a little bit better. I have one issue though, and it's not likely on every single U.S. agent, but I find his leg, taking him out of packaging, this leg started coming loose from the upper thigh area. I kind of had to get some pressure going to snap that back into place. You know what? I guess really, here's the thing. Aside from the hands, I guess for the most part, he's a good figure. Yeah, I think it's just the hands that are doing it for me. The hands are awkward, especially that hand right there. Will he actually even hold a knife? Let's get a knife in his hand. See, the knife doesn't even hold well in his hand. So you know what? That's the thing. That's exactly what's doing it. The culprit is these hands. The rest of the body with a little finagling, you know what, as a whole isn't all that bad. It's just these hands. Paint-wise, though, still good. The black is really nice. In the way of his articulation, is he has a swivel in the head. You can bend the head up, down, left, right via this hinge socket. Basically, it's just a beveled, kind of a pinched clamp, and then the socket sits into that, which allows you to rotate it back and forth. It's essentially a hinged ball joint. You have that same ball joint in the shoulders, which will allow the arms to move out, forward, and back. Extremely stiff, though. A rotation in the bicep, a double bend in the elbow, which you're not going to get too much, but you're still going to get some luxury, some additional movement, even though his gloves kind of hinder some of it. He's got a hinge rotation in the hand. I just don't like those hands, though. The upper torso crunch is a swivel in the waist. His legs go forward, back, out. A rotation in the thigh. Bend at the knee. Double bend in the knee. A rotation in the foot. and hinge in the feet themselves, in the actual toe foot area. Something else I want to discuss quickly. Spot doesn't really want to eat up too much time, but notably, one thing that I do like about U.S. Agent here is the bend in his thigh, is this section right here. And I'm wondering, as I'm looking at the other ones that I've reviewed, I'm wondering if this is a newer sculpt on the figure. The reason why I say that is because the joint in his thigh seems to be just a pegged hinge. It looks like there's a little peg in there that's clipping this leg into place. One thing I commented on when I did Deadpool, and I'm just reaching off camera here and pulling in Deadpool, Deadpool's got that awkward socket where you have to rotate the leg a certain way to bring the leg forward. Same idea to bring the leg out. You have to have that joint hinged, rotated to a certain angle to angle and move those legs. Iron Man also had that, which I'm wondering if these are older sculpt figures. And maybe we might even get the same idea with Doctor Doom, because I'm pretty sure Doctor Doom is a reuse as well. These old hinges I don't like. And maybe this is a reuse, a re-release of the smaller 3 3/4 inch Iron Man. And this is a re-release of the original Hasbro 2-pack Deadpool. And that's why they're utilizing these leg sockets. U.S. Agent doesn't have that. U.S. Agent has a lot more freedom in his leg than what Deadpool and Iron Man had, respectively. So, you know what? I have to apologize, U.S. Agent. I'm really sorry. I ripped you apart initially, and I said you were an awkward figure. But you know what? You've grown on me over the course of the 9 minutes that I've been reviewing you. So for that, I want to say thank you. Your hands still suck, but as a whole, I like overall how you turned out. And actually, you know what? The fact that you can get some really nice poses out of him, you can put him on display, the display base that he came with, and get a really nicely sculpted, really nicely posed U.S. Agent. Let's get him put on his base here for a second. The only thing I find too is that his legs don't peg into place all that well either. And you can get something that looks like that. That actually looks nice. I like that quite a bit. Good pose. Well done, Spot. As a whole, though, you know what? I do feel bad. I do feel bad that I kind of picked apart U.S. Agent in the beginning of this review, because he ended up becoming a better figure as a whole. If they have ever or will ever approach this same mold using for Captain America, which I'm pretty sure they have, but if they ever consider reusing this mold, this was actually a pretty good sculpt for Captain America. U.S. Agent, I'm going to give him an 8.5. It's remarkable how Spot started picking away at this figure initially, but ended up liking him a lot more in the end. Just like any relationship. You start a relationship and you think, oh, I don't know if I like where this is going. And then near the end of it, you're like, wow, you know what? Things turned out pretty good indeed. And I also really like these hinges. Like them quite a bit. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends U.S. Agent. Thanks for watching, guys. Certainly stay tuned. Spot's got more reviews of Marvel Legends heading your way. I'll see you next time.